But it's now trying not to buy items that are wrapped in plastic. That's
Yes,
not easy.
it's not easy. And you know what? It's not easy for the supermarkets either. If you think about it, they have tens of thousands of different suppliers. And this stuff just arrives in boxes and on the steam packet, and it arrives as it's packed. They've got so Shoprite, Tesco, Co-op have got no hold over whether this stuff arrives packaged or not. So on that basis, they're a bit stymied, really. They're caught in a little bit of a trap. So until you get to the manufacturers and the suppliers, then it's not going to change very
How, how
quickly.
do how do you get to the manufacturers and the
You
suppliers?
know what? I'll just be completely honest. I have no idea. But having said that, the supermarkets are obviously directly in touch with these people all the time. So there's no reason why they can't be bending their ear and saying to them, look, the public are saying this is not right, And I mean, sometimes the amount of packaging on materials is just crazy.
The supermarkets, I would suggest, you've seen it with milk supplies, meat supplies, and farms. They have an enormous sway, don't they, on what's paid to people and what
That's right.
goes in on the shops. Do the supermarkets need to take a lead here?
You know what? I think what is happening is that the public's taking a lead on this because what I've
Are they
seen.
going to force the supermarket's hand?
I think so. When you look at what can be achieved just by the community, just by saying what they think, this issue, I think, is perhaps one of the few issues, if not the only issue at the moment, where the public can actually make a decision when they go into a shop and decide what they're going to buy. And if there's too much packaging on it, people are actually going to the counter saying, "Look, this is out of the question." There have been some protests in the UK outside supermarkets where people have gone and stripped all of the plastic off the apples or whatever it is they're buying, and then shoved it all in a bag and taken it back into the supermarket and said, "We're not prepared to put up with this." And I noticed too that there's people now selling what they call wobbly vegetables and fruit. The ones that aren't supposedly perfect in the perfect shape, and they used to get dumped. Which is shameful. And now all of a sudden there's a big move where people are trying to make supermarkets change. And if they don't buy the stuff, they will change, because once the sales start going down, these guys will get the message, and they will have to change. Let's face it, they're going to save some money if they don't put too much wrapping on anyway. So there's a lot of logic attached to all of this, and it's interesting how the public is able to make some changes in this issue. It's not easy to make changes in this world, so what a nice way to achieve it in a nice, civilized fashion.
There's momentum now, isn't there?
There is, and I think a lot of this has got to do with David Attenborough and the Queen. They're good friends. There was a good program on them the other night. But David Attenborough in Planet Earth, Blue Planet 2, in November, mentioned in the final program about plastics and the pollution it's causing and the amount of animals it's killing. I have to say, though, that's the first time he's done that in all these years, and we've been at this for 10, 11 years.
Head of the game.
Yeah, we are. We are. And in fact, a few television stations are looking at us at the moment at doing a documentary on what we've been doing, because we are so far ahead of the game. And some of the things that have been said on things like BBC News and the One Show the other night are miles behind the reality, because they're just thinking, they're all talking about let's get rid of plastic, but the reality is what you need to do is to look at it at source, but also to tackle the problem of education amongst children, so that when they grow up, they're not going to do what the idiots are doing, a small percentage of idiots are doing now, which is chucking stuff out of car windows.